Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Alex Vamos and we're going to be doing today Introduction to Self-Defense. So first we're going to go over what is self-defense, some different concepts of self-defense as well, and then at the end of the video we'll go over some techniques that you can learn to apply. Okay, so Introduction to Self-Defense. So basically there's two types of self-defense. Of course, physical and mental, right? Using our mind, try to avoid a situation, using our words, trusting our instinct, and physical self-defense. All right, so physical self-defense is the use of physical force to counter an immediate threat of violence. Such force can be either armed or unarmed. Right? In either case, the chances of success depend on a large number of parameters related to the severity of the threat on one hand, but also on the mental and physical preparedness of the defender. Okay, so someone comes to threaten us, right? This is where we're going to use maybe some, of course, physical self-defense. And this is an important concept, guys, right here, right? Are how much we prepared for the situation. All right, we'll go over that a little bit more later, but for physical and mental, it's important that we prepare for these situations. Okay, mental self-defense is the ability to get into the proper mindset for executing a physical self-defense technique. Right? Many martial arts schools and self-defense classes focus primarily on physical nature of self-defense, but it's very important to focus on the mental aspect as well. So not only in self-defense, just like anything, you want to be able to practice in a realistic situation as much as you can so you're prepared for a realistic situation. Just like if you're playing a sport, it's one thing if you practice, but when you go into the game, it's different. Same thing in self-defense and, of course, martial arts. All right. Awareness. Lessen your chances of being a victim. All right, so we could always do things to help avoid the situation. Right, this is always the best self-defense, is not getting into the fight. All right, so be aware of your surroundings and situations that might be dangerous. Right, know how to avoid these situations. Know what choices to make if you find yourself in a potential situation. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. Oh yeah, 4 keys to self-defense skills that you should be aware of. So this is what we were just talking about before. Okay, using your head, we just talked a little bit about that. We'll go into more details. De-escalating a bad situation. So remember what I said before. The goal is to avoid the situation, right? You don't want to encounter, you don't want to get into a fight with someone. The best thing to do is de-escalate the situation. Reducing our risks, and of course, taking self-defense classes, which will be extremely important. Of course, learning how to defend yourself and also build your confidence. Okay, so check out hangouts. Do they look safe? Are you comfortable being there? Ask yourself if the people around you seem to share your views on what's fun activities, right? So if, some people, you might be in a certain group that wants to start trouble, you know right away, this group's not for me. Don't just be a follower, right? Be a leader. Really trust yourself, okay? If you think they're being reckless, move on. Even if sometimes, what do you think of your friends? They start doing bad things, you don't feel comfortable with it, just leave. You don't have to do it just because, of course, they're doing it. Right? Be sure your body language shows a sense of confidence. Look like you know where you are and going to act alert. Right? So this is if you are maybe by yourself, or if someone's doing something wrong, you want to show that confidence. You want to be able to stand up for yourself. Okay? You don't want to just be, of course, unconfident. This is also chances of more likely people looking to, make you feel uncomfortable. Right? Instincts play a huge role. Okay? You got to trust your instincts. Right? What's your instinct? That's that gut feeling inside. Right? That something tells you it's good or bad. All right, so one way to avoid a potential attack before it happens is to trust your instincts. Instincts combined, of course, with common sense can get you out of trouble. Right? So, for example, you're running alone on the school track and you suddenly feel like you're being watched. That could be your intuition telling you something. Right? Then your common sense would then tell you to go where there are more people around. Right? So if you ever get that feeling, try not to doubt it. Right? Just try to believe in yourself and go, oh, you know what? Let me just play it safe. Let me go, of course, where more people are. All right, so again, always trust your instincts. If you feel uneasy in a situation, do something about it. Don't worry about appearing foolish or overly cautious. Okay, that's what happens a lot of times. We don't listen to ourselves. We feel like, oh, someone else will make fun of me, or it's a little weird. Always go, again, with your gut. It won't steer you wrong. Okay, this is where also the confidence comes in. Look, believe in yourself. Have the strength to be independent. Don't allow yourself to be intimidated. So, again, if 5 kids are doing something that you don't want to do, just be confident about it. Just say, listen, I don't want to do that right now, and if you have to leave, you leave. All right, de-escalating a bad situation. So De-escalating situation means speaking or acting in a way that can prevent things from getting worse. So this is the best situation, right? Getting out of it before anything, of course, happens, right? So attackers aren't always strangers who jump out of dark alleys. Sadly, we can be attacked by people we know. That's where the skill of de-escalating situation comes in. All right. So why de-escalation works? Something as simple as not losing your temper can de-escalate a situation, right? So as we build more confidence, okay, if you practice self-defense, if you practice things to help your confidence, just you not losing your temper, right? Sometimes when you lose your temper and you get angry, it shows that somehow you're a little insecure, like you're trying to prove something. But that alone can change the whole situation, just learning how to control your emotions, okay? Learn how to manage your own anger effectively so that you can talk or walk away without using your fists or weapons, right? That's the best. Again, avoid the situation. Myself, I've been doing martial arts over 20 years. I am in a fight over 20 years, okay? So, now, although de-escalation won't always work, it can only help matters if you remain calm and don't give an attacker any extra ammunition, right? Whether it's a stranger or someone you thought you could trust, saying and doing things that don't threaten you, attack can give you some control. So again, if you control your emotions, you're able to think better, you don't overreact, and then they overreact, and then it just becomes, and then it escalates, of course, into not a good situation. All right, reducing your risk. So when you go out, make sure you're comfortable with the plans, right? That's, of course, very important, where your friends are going or, what you're doing with certain people. Stay in group situations, right? Better off if you're in a group. If someone's looking to attack people, they're most likely not going to attack a whole group. They'll attack someone who's by themselves, right? Make sure you have a cell phone, your battery is charged, and let other people know your plan. Always tell your parents, it could be your friends, your neighbors, but always let people know what you're doing. All right, when at home, keep your lights on, right? Keep entrances well lit. If someone comes to the door, never give the impression you're alone and have the doors locked, right? So if someone knocks at your door, or trying to tell you something, oh, I'm by myself right now. Like, of course, we don't want to say that, right? Always have the impression someone else is there. In your car, always have your keys out and be ready to get into your car, right? So you don't want to get to your car and you're fumbling around for your keys. Most cars now I know have more electronic, but if you have an older car, definitely have your keys out, okay? Lock your doors right after entering, and also park in well-lit areas. Always lock your car. So lock your car when you leave, and then park in well-lit areas is also very important so everyone can see what's going on. If you're in the dark, you're in the corner somewhere, easier to for someone to attack you without you seeing. Okay? You can reduce your risk of being a victim by doing things that can help you stay safe, right? Make sure, again, your friends, your parents know your daily schedule, classes, sports practice, club meetings. If you go on a date or with friends for an after-game snack, let someone know where you're going and when you expect to return, right? Don't just leave, not letting anyone know what's going on, and no one knows where you are, all right? All right, reasons why everyone should take self-defense training, right? So self-defense training will build confidence. Again, like I was saying before, the more you practice something, the better you're gonna feel, the better you're gonna do at it, just like anything, okay? Not just this is gonna apply literally to anything we do. If I play baseball, the more hours I practice hitting the ball with the bat, the better I'm gonna feel and the more confident I'm gonna be. Okay, same thing with self-defense training, right? Many people are unconfident with their abilities to protect themselves before they learn self-defense, which is natural because you don't know it, right? We assume sometimes, oh, I know how to fight, but if you never really practiced certain techniques, you're not gonna really feel comfortable inside with how to do it, right? It helps develop also self-discipline, right? So martial arts, just to practice it alone builds the discipline. Now you're maybe not getting into trouble. You're practicing techniques. It also helps you once you start working out. Oh, let me start eating a little better, and gives you that self-discipline. Okay, which will help you be motivated and dedicated. It will make you more aware of your surroundings. Right. So the more you practice, you also start to develop almost like a sixth sense. Right. You're more aware of what's going on because of all the training you've done. All right. So you have the right to use reasonable force to prevent a crime, including defending yourself, right? So if something does happen now, right, know that you can use force to, of course, defend yourself. So if you really feel threatened, someone attacks you, your friend, doesn't matter, you can use force, okay? So what's reasonable force? In a situation where you feel uncomfortable, it's important to access the level of threat, right? So we have no threat, low threat, medium threat, high threat, right? And the appropriate response to the threat, the level of force you respond with must be appropriate to the situation, right? So if someone's just kind of talking to you, like, hey man, well, you feel like they're kind of bothering you, but you don't just punch them in the face, right? You don't have to go from a low threat, of course, to a high threat. So you always have to assess the situation, right? And of course, use the best though, again, using your words, protruding your confidence, right? Like just so if someone knows you're confident, you're speaking clearly, this is the best situation again to avoid the fight. Okay, so we have different applications in martial arts, right? So striking, right? These are our punches and kicks, right? So when it comes to self-defense strikes and blows, the most common attacks are striking refers to kicks, punches, headbutts, knees, elbows, and other attacks, right? So basically using our limbs to attack, all right? Blocks, okay? Your opponent is most likely going to strike back. So one of the martial art techniques that you can use to minimize an attack is a block. Blocking is the act of stopping your opponent's strike before it is completed. The arms most commonly used for blocking, but of course you can use your legs at certain times as well. So if I do get into an altercation right now, I don't want to be swinging. I want to make sure I have my hands up, and we'll go over that later in the video of how to block properly and move your body. Okay, very important. All right, takedowns. So takedown occurs when you actually bring your opponent to the ground. There are many different ways to accomplish a takedown. So maybe if some of you have done wrestling in high school, you know takedowns, but a takedown is very efficient because when you put someone on their back, they don't have as much power now. They can't really use their body weight behind the punches. So you have a huge advantage, of course, if you can get someone down to the back. So those are takedowns. And of course, another way of putting someone down to the ground is using throws. Okay, so throws are another form of takedowns. During a throw, you maneuver your body and legs to take down your opponent. The end result is that your opponent again is brought to the ground. So the other one might be some wrestling. This is also called judo as well. We can grab the sleeve. Someone's wearing a sweatshirt. You can grab their collar and you can throw them to the ground. But either way, again, the goal is to get the opponent to the ground. Now this is submissions, okay? So the goal is to force your opponent to give up or submit. So these are arm locks, joint manipulations. Again, we're gonna go over that in the video in a little while. Just be careful, guys, when you guys are practicing submissions. All right, I'll say this in the video as well, but I'm gonna say it right now. Make sure we're tapping. All right, so what that means is as soon as someone applies a submission, I feel the pain or pressure, I tap. All right, so you can, two hands, you can hit someone, you can verbally tap, that means stop. Okay, again, when I'm applying a submission, even as a self-defense altercation, I don't wanna really hurt someone, but I'll put them in a position to submit. It's okay, I'm done, I don't wanna do anything more, and they'll stop the position. You don't really have to hurt someone, but 100%, when you're practicing, make sure we tap our partner. The last thing we want to do is hurt someone. So if you're working with your brother, your sister, your friends, your parents, do things very slow when we practice. All right? And some important tips. All right? So when defending yourself, always keep your hands up, elbows down. This will give you the best defense for your body and head. So this is a very simple approach, but sometimes you see people get in altercation, their hands down. Oh, what's up? What are you going to do? Just this alone, if you can see, my body's very open. All right? So just doing this. Hey guys, my elbows are up, my hands are up, I'm able to now defend myself. All right, my palms are facing forward, okay, I can grab. So we don't want to have our hands down. So always be ready to have your hands up and be able to protect yourself, especially within a certain parameter. So once someone is in striking range with me, my hands are up. Okay, of course, if they're 10 feet away, your hands can be down, but when someone comes close, make sure our hands are up. All right, so take a self-defense class. So the best way to prepare yourself to fight off an attack is to take self-defense class, right? The more you practice techniques, the more confident you will feel applying against a resisting opponent. All right, guys, so again, this is the most important, right? If you want to get good at self-defense, you have to practice self-defense, right? All martial arts schools, I say most martial arts schools teach self-defense classes, and the more you practice, the better you're gonna feel, the more confident you're gonna be. You can't just do self-defense once, not do it again for a year, and be able to apply it. Okay, it's just not going to work. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. You have to practice on a consistent basis for a good amount of time. Then if you want to take a break, that's fine, but it has to become part of your daily schedule in the beginning. Okay, just like anything. If I study a language, right? If I study Spanish today, I can't expect 6 months from now to remember all the words I just learned today, and if I never practiced again. So every day you guys practice, again, we get a little bit better, and we build on top of that. All right, so now we're going to get into the video part of the series. So again, I'm going to show you guys some self-defense techniques, so some punches, some grabs, just some basic things you guys can do. And again, if you're practicing with someone, just be careful. Always do it slow as well. Okay, so when we're practicing self-defense, never go 100% with your friend. Like he throws a punch or if he grabs you as hard as you can and you just try to muscle it. Always go and try to use technique. Right? When I use technique and I become efficient at it, now I can use it over strength. But if I just try to rely on my explosiveness, let's say I'm training with my friend, but I'm stronger than him. So every time he grabs me, I just yank my arm out or something. Sure, I get out of it, but maybe what happens if he was stronger? What happens if he was bigger? So when we're practicing, let's really go slow. Every motion, just not too fast, and really try to apply the technique I'm showing. So hope you guys enjoy, and let's enjoy the self-defense application. All right, guys, so now let's look into the technique part of our self-defense application, okay? So for this, you'll need a partner. You can use your siblings, you can use your parents, anything is fine, okay? So let's look at a nice, simple one, okay? If someone looks to grab my wrist, we're gonna go for same side wrist grab. So it's important we're doing self-defense. I don't wanna rely on my strength, right? I have to assume my partner is stronger than me. So if I just try to pull away, he's holding tight, see, it's gonna be very difficult. So we're gonna use our technique. So look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look to turn my wrist to the opening of his fingers. And then all I do from here is I bring my elbow up, and like magic, okay, let's go, okay? So again, look, he's gonna grab strong. I'm gonna turn the wrist up, elbow comes towards me, comes up, my hand comes back, and now we have our skate. If I really felt in danger, I can also use my elbow as a strike and come out. Okay, so again, he's gonna grab same side wrist grab, we turn, we're out, and we escape the position. Other side, same thing, you guys can practice always both sides. Turn the wrist, my elbow comes up, my hand comes back, and we have our skate. Important detail, don't do this. Smack yourself in the head, all right? Turn, move away. Remember, if someone has a grip on you, they have control of you, right? They can manipulate your body, they can pull, push. So as soon as someone ever grabs me, I'm right away out of the position. All right, so that's gonna be for the same side wrist grab. Okay, let's look at the cross wrist grab now. Now he's grabbing with a cross grip. Okay, so I can't turn the same way. So again, I don't wanna rely on my strength, right? I wanna use technique. So look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring my hand towards my body, like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my body to turn and rotate my partner's arm. Okay, so 1, 2, and I grab his wrist. From here, my hand goes right behind his elbow, turn, push pressure down my partner's arm, and we have the escape for the wrist grab. Now just be careful here with your partner. You don't want to put too much pressure, right? You could hyperextend the arm and hurt their elbow. So if I was a little bit of pressure, my partner can say the word tap, and then I know to let go. So if you hear the word tap, or if someone taps like this, you immediately let go and stop the position. All right, let's look at that again. Cross wrist grab, okay? Hand comes in towards my body, I rotate, grab the wrist. Arm comes behind the elbow, so I put pressure down, I can push him away, and I have my escape. I go through the side so you guys can see here. So again, I don't just try to rotate my arm, because if you got a strong grip, it might be hard to turn my wrist. So bring the hand towards the body, and I turn my body. As I turn my body, I turn my hand, control the wrist, hand behind the elbow, and we have our escape. Okay, so we have the same side wrist grab. That was a cross wrist grab. Let's look at the double wrist grab now. Someone has 2 hands on my arm. Right now, he can really pull me strong, or I can throw my arm to the side. So let's look and understand base first. So if my feet are close together, Coach Mike just starts to pull me back. Mike, just look how easy it is. You see, for him to off balance me. So if someone has 2-on-1, if I want to understand and get a good base where he can't pull me like that, I'm just gonna bring my leg back. So I'm gonna have my feet a little further than shoulder width apart. One foot facing towards you guys, my other foot facing towards Mike. So I'm creating a 90-degree angle on my legs, and I'm just gonna sit down towards the mat. So as my partner starts to pull, right, if he starts to pull me, now I have a good sense of base. It's important though, I don't lean back, right? So if he's pulling and I lean back and he lets go, I'm gonna fall, right? But now if he starts to pull and I lower my level, it's gonna be difficult to throw me off balance. Now how I break this grip is all I wanna do is I wanna reach my hand over, grab my hand, and bring my elbow up. Okay, so whatever hand he's grabbing, I'm reaching, grabbing my hand, and bring my elbow up. Okay, also important detail is, whatever arm he grabs, that leg has to be forward. Right, so if he were to grab my right arm, and I have my left leg forward, he just does a slight pull, I'm off balance. See, so if he grabs the right arm, my right leg goes forward. So as he starts to pull me, he can't do it, I bring my elbow up, and we have our escape. All right, so let's look at it one more time to this side. So look at a double wrist grab. No way I can rotate my hand either way. Get a good base, grab my wrist, bring my elbow up, and we have our escape. Okay, so now we're gonna look, someone's trying to push you, right? They're coming at you aggressive. Hey man, what's the problem? They wanna come and just, start to push you and be aggressive. So anytime someone goes to push me or put their hands on my shoulders, I'm gonna look for inside control. So what does that mean? As my partner pushes me, I wanna control the inside space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cup both my hands by his tricep, okay? Like basically I'm cupping his bicep and my fingers are going to his tricep. So what happens now is, since I'm controlling the inside space, I take away a lot of his power, right? Now if Mike were to go to try to lean forward and push me, Mike. See, I can control his arms, really push me hard, move up. Oh, really, I'm serious. You see, now it's very difficult. If he had the inside control, he starts to push me now, Mike. Keep pushing, go up, yeah, see? Now it's gonna be very hard to stop him. So if someone goes to push me, boom. I can control the inside space. So one, just a drill you guys can practice is, the partner's gonna push him slowly. Now when you practice, just distributing your weight forward a little bit. Okay, push a little bit, Mike. See, you'll see when you practice is that you're negating all his strength. Okay, what's also good is that when I'm controlling my partner's arms, I'm connected to him. Right, so what that means is, if he tries to throw a punch, you see, I can feel what he's gonna do. And of course, if he's really leaning forward, I can counter with a strike of my own, throw him down, and also have my escape. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. He's gonna come push, we grab. He starts to really lean forward. Right, when you guys get better, you move your feet back. When you really try to push me now, push, 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 push. You see, he can't do it. Now we can throw our partner off guard, and we have, again, our escape. And then psychologically, right away, when someone can't push you, they go, wow, this guy's so strong. Right, but again, we're just relying on our technique. All right, guys, now we're gonna look if someone looks to grab you from behind. Okay, so again, we're gonna be doing a submission here. So again, we never do it fast. All right, we're gonna do it nice and slow, and it's important. The person, as soon as you feel a little bit of pain, we're gonna tap. All right, so again, verbally tap, or just, tap your partner's leg, you know to let go. So now my partner gets behind me, right? So I'm hanging out, someone looks to grab me from behind. All right, now under the arms we're gonna look at. So what I'm gonna do is I have to break this grip. All right, when he has this grip, he has control of my hips. So if Mike wanted to lift me up right now, he can get his hips under, easy to lift me up. Okay, so we're just gonna do a 2-on-1 on his wrists. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to bring my hips forward. Notice when I bring my hips forward, his arms extend. Okay, it's gonna be harder for him now to hold the position. So I'm gonna push down on his arms. As I bring my hips forward, we break the grip. Now, of course, I could just try to move away and escape. Okay, another option we have though, the submission, like I said, we're looking for the kimura. So I'm gonna lean forward, break the grip, I come over his elbow, I grab my own wrist. All right, so it's very important here, my arm goes over the elbow, not under by the forearm. So even though I have the same grip, Mike, pull your arm out, I don't have any control. When I'm over the elbow, if he tries to pull his arm out, you see, it makes it very difficult. So we're using a no thumb grip, controlling his wrist, coming over the elbow, controlling my wrist. All right, now nice and simple. This is a good position because even if my partner were trying to punch me or something from here, look, I can always just turn, and now we're in a good position to submit. Okay, now watch how we do this, nice and slow, it has to be. Elbow stays glued to me, and all I do now is I bring his hand towards his head, and he might either go down, or if he feels enough pain, he's gonna tap, and we have our submission. Okay, again, nice and slow, never do it fast. So we grab, I pull down, I lock up the kimura. Okay, if the grip was still holding, I can even use the kimura grip. To break the grip, come through, I pinch my elbow, I bring his hand towards his head. As you can see, it's a very fast submission. So remember, always slow, never too fast, and make sure your partner is tapping in person, or again, if your arms are stuck, you're gonna do it, verbally tap, and we have our submission, our escape from there. All right, guys, so let's look at another one, the headlock. All right, very common, use to control, right? Someone will come with the headlock as well. When you come on the side of your partner, right? They hold you like this, they give you noogies, they can hit you, right? It's not a good position, right? They can wait for their friends. So let's look how we escape out of this position. So my partner gets me in the headlock. So one is, I remember, we have to use technique, right? Someone's really strong, they're here, they're holding me, they can even use his hand to start punching me in the head. Yeah, not a good position. So one is I always try to protect my face. All right, my hand now, that's behind his back. As my partner goes to punch me, he just shoots in, and I grab it. Go to punch, Mike. And I trap his arm. Once I trap his arm, that arm's mine. All right, it's very difficult for him to get this arm back. Try to get the arm back, Mike. Try to move it around. You see, because I'm around his back. Now what I want to do is I want to get out of the headlock position. So if you look at my back, here, Mike's a big guy. If I just try to lift up, it's going to be difficult. Okay, it's important here we use our legs. All right, so I control the wrist. What I do is I bring my legs towards his, I straighten my back, and I lift up. So now I'm using the power of my legs, not the power of my back. Okay, once I'm here, I can escape my head, push my partner, and I'm out of the headlock. All right, let's look at it again, nice and simple. So we're in a headlock position. My hand's here, he goes to punch, my hand comes in, I trap. Okay, we grab. Controlling my partner's wrist. Look, I'm gonna bring my hips underneath me, I straighten my back. I escape the head, I push, and we're out of the headlock position. All right, one more time, I'll do the other side. Okay, here I want you to actually see my hand position of that. It's already behind him. So as he goes to punch, it reaches and traps. Okay, now from here, it still has the position. Remember, don't lift up from here. Too much energy, too much strain on my back. But when I get my hips underneath me, now I lift up, it's much easier. Okay, we can go, push, and we have our escape from the headlock. Okay, so when you're practicing, of course, don't do too hard. Any of the techniques, always soft in the beginning, and as you practice more and more, you can start building up the resistance. All right, guys, let's look at the idea of distance management. Okay, so what does that mean? So I get into altercation with someone, right? Big bully over here wants to bother me, right? So where am I safe? That's number one. Understand the safety and the distance. So right now, what do you guys think? Am I safe? Probably not. Why? I'm at the end of his punch. So what that means is he can put the weight behind his punch. If he hits me, it's gonna hurt. Now I know I'm safe here because he can't reach me. So where else am I safe? If I'm really close. Why? Because when I'm close, there's no weight behind the punch. It's only kind of his arms that can hit me. And it's not gonna be that powerful, right? It's not gonna really do any damage. Where if I'm over here and the partner connects, that's where we have the problems. So what I always like to do is make sure our hands are up. And when I put my hands up, I always keep my palms up to face my partner. So this is almost like a non-aggressive way. Hey, I don't want any problems, right? If I have my fists up right away, that means I want to fight. But of course, the goal is always avoid the fight. So when I'm here, my hands are up, no problem. So this way I'm able to defend myself. Okay. Now, how we can close the distance? There's many ways to do it. All right. I'm going to show you two ways. Let's say I know this guy's going to be aggressive. Okay. I want to close that distance. All right. So what I can use is my kick. Right. So if someone comes towards me, I can just almost use a basic what's called a front kick. So nice and easy how to throw it. We bring our knee up, extend my leg, and I bring it back. Okay. We can go for the stomach. We can go for the thigh. Right. By the leg, just to keep the distance. So I'm not looking to hurt him with the kick. I'm using it as distance management. And I want to see also how he reacts. So if his hands are up here and I throw a kick, right, I want to see how he does. So maybe he blocked it. Maybe, oh, okay, I didn't really notice he blocked. So I'll maybe throw another one. Now I notice that hand comes down. So now as I throw it, or I fake to throw it, I can close the distance. So what I'll do is I'll bring my knee up. Now he thinks I'm throwing the kick. Now I come in and I grab. What I want to do now is called the body lock. So my arms go over my partner's waist and I connect my hands. My head's in his chest. Okay, sometimes too, if I get the arm, even better. Okay, because now he can't really hit me at all. Okay, I'm safe. Now I got a few options here, of course. What I can do if I just want to push him away, go, I can go escape, tell a teacher, go to a parent, no problem. If I want to take him down, we can go for a simple takedown. Now make sure if you practice at home, don't do any takedowns if there's furniture around, if you're in the kitchen floor, right? It has to be in a safe area. Okay, so if you're not in a safe area, don't do the takedown. Okay, just practice from here, just pushing your partner away and escaping. Okay, but if you want to practice the takedown, okay, we're here. All I have to do now is bring my leg around my partner's leg and I kind of lean forward. Taking my partner down nice and slow. And now I land in what's called top position. Okay, we have the side control or the mount, so we won't go into that many details today there, but once we get on the floor, we have a lot of options. Okay, so let's look at it again. My hands are up. I'm keeping distance. He's trying to come forward maybe. See, I can keep him away. Now I fake. I grab. Okay, again, push him away. Now I can move away if I need to get away. And we have our escape. Or again, if I'm looking for my takedown, one, fake, grab. I hook the leg off the mat, drive him down to the floor. I say, hey, we got a problem. Now we got no problem. Now he's your buddy. You don't have to hurt him. All right, so that's just a basic understanding of distance management from the standing position. And that we want to be either really close or, hey, stay away from me. Now I know I'm safe here. But once we're here, always keep your guard up. Okay, always be ready for someone to attack. All right, guys, so we're talking about distance management. Let's just look at how to block punches again, and then if I want to close the distance, we can enter the position. So it's very important here how we block punches with which hand we're going to use. So if my partner throws a jab at me, okay, what I don't want to do is block with my front hand. If I block with my front hand, I can go, ooh, I block a jab. Boop. The two hits me. All right, so basically if you're a righty, your right leg should be back. He's a righty, his right leg. Now this will be a little different if you're fighting a lefty or something like that. We'll show both options. So right now we're both righties though. So if he throws a jab, I'm always just using my back hand. So it's called a parry block. So basically I'm just hitting with the palm of my hand. I'm just moving his arm slightly to the side. Okay, I don't want to really overcommit too much. So as he throws a jab, we're just moving it out the way. He throws what's called the cross. I'm going to use my front hand now and block. Same thing, if I block with my back hand across, you can come across and hit me with the other punch. Okay, so again, he throws a jab, we're going to practice. 1, 2. See, again. 1, 2. Now I throw my partner. Jab, cross. If you want, you can slightly move out the way too. Okay, just give you a basic understanding of how to block punches. All right, he throws at me. Jab, cross. Okay, I throw at him. Jab, cross. Okay, so those are just nice and simple things we can do to block the punches correctly. Now let's say someone throws a wild hook, right? They're not a clean fighter. Okay, this is a good time now to close the distance. So if I throw a wild hook at Mike, right, he's gonna put his hands up. And again, look, now he's nice and close. He can go for that body lock position. Okay, look for that takedown. He can look to push me away, or he can look to, of course, attack with some other strikes. But again, controlling the distance. So what does he do? He wants to keep, remember what I said, those hands up, protect yourself. So when I throw that wild hook at him, see, and what did he do? He moved close. Now he's safe. Now he can get into his body lock position, trap my arm, and now I'm in trouble. And at the same time, I can't do any damage to him. All right, that's the goal of self-defense. Minimizing any damage to you, trying to avoid the fight if possible, but of course if needed, we have some tools that we can do. All right, so now he's gonna throw at me the wild hook. See, my hands are up, block. Now we come in for a body lock. Again, my head's in tight, I can trap the arm, and we have our escape. Okay, so let's get it one more time. Look at the jab cross. So Coach Mike goes at me, jab, cross. And if you want, I can come back with the hook. So he's gonna throw jab cross again. 1, 2, someone comes with the hook. Boom, he blocks, gets inside, and now we have some defense when someone throws punches. All right, guys, let's look at another common attack, the guillotine. Right, so we did the headlock before with someone's on the side of you. The guillotine happens when someone's in front of you and they're kind of getting around your neck now. And they just kind of squeeze, puts a lot of pressure in your neck. Okay, we don't want to be here. So maybe I was going for his legs, maybe he just put my head down. So look how we do the escape. Okay, it's very important. So common thing to do here is just grab his own wrist here. But if I don't really get it early enough and he keeps squeezing, right, my own hand actually starts to choke me. So it's not really the best thing is to hold his arm. What I want to do, one is put my hand on his hip. My other hand now wants to go over his shoulder. So what we're doing is, one, I extend his hip. So what that does is it stops him from engaging his hip. So a lot of times, to kind of get a good squeeze on someone, they're going to bring their hips in. Right? They're not going to squeeze like this. They're going to try to really bring their hips in and squeeze. That's what gives them power. So when I put the hand on the hip, it stops him from doing that. Now what I want to do is I want to change the structure of his spine. See, when my spine is straight, I'm strong. But if I'm twisted like this, I lose a lot of my strength. Okay, so let's look how we do that to him. So he gets around my neck. Okay, again, remember guys, we're practicing, we're not squeezing hard. Okay, we're just doing the movements. Hand goes on the hip. My other hand now comes over his shoulder. I reach as deep as I can. Okay, and I grab his back. Now you can grab his shirt, sweatshirt, or I can kind of just cup his back. And look what I'm doing. I'm going to bring my elbow down. You see, so he's twisted. Now if he tries to finish the technique, he's not going to be able to do it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to circle my legs the opposite side of my head. So my head's on his right side. I'm going to go to, of course, my right side. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my knee right behind his knee. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little bump as I straighten my back. He's going to let go. And we have the escape. If he didn't let go, what happened is you would land on top position, and you'd be in great position in side control, and he wouldn't be able to finish the guillotine. Okay, so let's look at it again. I made the mistake, again, he got around my neck. Hand goes on the hip, other hand goes over the shoulder. I reach for the lat, I pinch my elbow down. See, now he's twisted up. Now I just do a little circle, a little bump, let's go, and we have our escape. So let's look at the opposite side so you guys can see my arm. So again, maybe I went to grab his legs, he got around my neck, hand on the hip. So remember, that stops him from engaging his hips. Okay, this arm comes up over the shoulder. Reach for the back. Now look what happens. I bring my elbow down, gets him twisted. Again, his right arm is choking me. I move to my right. I give him a little knee bump as I straighten my back. We're out of position, and we escape the guillotine. Okay, so we have the front choke and side choke. Very common. People will attack these positions, especially when they don't really know what they're doing. So now you guys have some escapes to get out of it, and of course, defend yourself.